Alright, hey guys. A lot of you guys have been asking me to post my spec like in detail, and there's been a lot of like discussion on BSN about like what works, what doesn't work, blah blah blah, herp a derp. And this is actually the second time I'm making this video because the first time I recorded it, I did not have input into external sound or whatever because I had turned it off to record another video. Man, I'm such an idiot. Anyway, but so I just sat there talking for like however many minutes. Anyway, so Biotic charge is pretty standard. This is mandatory. This is mandatory. Mandatory. Say, because if somebody area reaves and reaves like 3 targets and you charge and your charge hits those additional 2, so you hit those same 3 targets, you're not just blowing up a one guy and that one explosion is hitting the other 2 guys. You are literally and individually blowing up all 3 targets. So this is mandatory. And it's mandatory if even just for the fact of survivability. Like you just staggered a group and you can get the hell out of there. I took weapon synergy here. You would think power synergy because it's like Biotic slash is power, palm blaster is a power, you know, and it's 25% for 15 rather than 15 for 3. But I'm not. You've seen my play style, and if you haven't, you probably will look at it after this video. And I just melee hard. Like I just melee, and his light melee does seem to give immunity frames. I didn't really think it did. I thought it was just really crazy damage reduction, but no, it does seem to be giving you immunity frames, so that's exploitable. Like a human vanguard with Nova, you know, and like this guy really needs the immunity frames. You'll still go down like a bitch. Like it's not really overpowered at all, actually. So like sometimes I use my weapon, like I carry the disciple just to like stagger enemies. And just because I don't need too much, I don't need like beastie damage. I just need a little bit of poop poop, you know, like say the guy has 2 bars of HP after I ass rammed them or whatever. It's like 2 bars, whatever, bang. The disciple's a little stronger than people give it credit for, but it's still still a wet noodle compared to other things. And this is absolutely mandatory. I could see how I could like daydream of a couple like scenarios where bonus power, where not triggering cooldown can like work. Just don't. Just take this. And okay, over here, you know what, let me actually do fitness first because it's so basic. Here's fitness. Melee damage, melee damage, melee damage. Melee, 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 melee. And now over here, these middle 3 are like where it's all basically just preference. I mean, there really is no solid way. It's like people are sitting on the forums trying to come up with a way. There is no way. It's however the hell you feel like doing it. And I'm not saying people didn't acknowledge that. I'm just saying like it just seems like people are trying to come up with it. There is no way. It's like and another question that people are probably gonna ask like a lot is, are these 3 tiers in phase disruptor even worth it at that point? If you're only gonna put 3, just put them in here or something. Which makes a lot of sense. I just did it for the lulsies because I want to be able to have a palm blaster because it's funny, but then so yeah, this is all preference. I went with Biotic slash. You can go for palm blaster if you want because this can come in probably really handy. I don't know, since the damage is 660 plus the 75% to armor. I don't know how many points it's gonna take off a brute on gold or platinum. I couldn't tell you. But it just seems like it could come in handy, right? So barriers and shields or armor. So that can come in handy, but I didn't take that. I took Biotic slash because it seems like Biotics already do have like a passive increase of damage to armor. Like it seems like they kind of ignore like the armor. Like I said, I don't know for sure. I know like moves like warp and incinerate passively have like an increase of damage to armor, like just already there passively. But it's like I said, I mean, this does more damage than phase disruptor also. So even if it doesn't have a passive thing to armor, the 660 damage plus another 75%, it's like the same shit. You know, this is still doing this more damage. Like say you have like 600 and then you have 100%. You know, it's another 600. That's 1200, and this is at 1347. So unless I didn't look at the number of phase disruptor right or something, but that's what it seems to me anyway. So let's see. This I took damage because it's consistent. That 30% is always going to be there. I do the same thing with energy drain versus like the 30% damage to the something whatever percent extra to synthetics or something. I choose the 30% because it's consistent. It'll work versus Cerberus, it'll work versus Marauders or whatever. It's just always there. This was kind of hard for me to choose because, like I said in my other video, anything that has to do with recharge speed and like kind of hasty, like I'm obsessed with like hasty kind of things, but it was between 1.7 and 1.5. So now right now it says 1.54 because it actually, I didn't have this spec before, and now that I do, it's registering it. So yeah, so it's at 1.5, so I got my way anyway. So that would have been a waste. But anyway, so I chose increase 50% biotic explosions because that will, you know, have good chemistry with your teammates, and that's always a good thing. I think this one actually, like, I mean, 50% of damage is pretty huge, you know. Well, then again, I think it's literally just like a, I think it's actually rather just a 20% of this 30. I don't think it's like an extra whole 50%. I think it's just like a, you know, I think it's cumulative, like 30% and 50%, but don't quote me on that. That could be horribly wrong. But anyway, damage, like, you know, raw damage. I chose damage. But the range, if you take range, it puts this at 30, which is pretty fucking far. That's really far. 20 is pretty good as it is. Like on my Batarian Sentinel, I have Shockwave with range, and it goes to 24 meters, and it's pretty far. I mean, it's pretty far. Like if you're, say, on Firebase White lols, and you're right in front of like that desk everyone camps behind, and you turn right and you shoot a Shockwave down, it'll reach that ladder that goes up to like the landing pad or past it. It's pretty far. So that's 24 meters. This is 20, and if you're playing a melee Vanguard, you're not going to be that far all the time, you know. I mean, and look, if Smash is so effective, I'm sure this is going to be effective with how many times the range? 10 times the range. Next is the Mastery. I always fucking go for weight reduction. It's just like so mandatory, even on like classes that won't be using like, well, I mean, it's like powers doesn't just mean biotics, it's everything. But well, then I never knew if it works for like Adrenaline Rush and Marksman, but doesn't matter. Point being, no matter what the hell the class, I always pick this. I like the weight reduction, I like the recharge speed, I like the hasty kind of things I told you. Except on Infiltrators. On Infiltrators, I always go for weapon damage because there's no really weight problem with Infiltrators. It just depends on how fast or how short rather you stay in your cloak. And then this, I chose power damage because headshot damage, you know, it's like I'm only using my shotgun at this point just to clear up a couple bars of HP from a mob that's like straggling, you know. It's like, say he survived like a bunch of my melee moves or, you know, whatever, I need to like roll out of the way and just kind of pop a shot off as I'm leaving. Boom. Just I don't really need my gun for too much. I mean, you could see in the video I have uploaded, but I don't know how that all will work on Platinum. Platinum, you might have to play this guy a different way. I mean, I've done Platinum, I second tried it, but I was on a Solarian Infiltrator because it is a go-to guy. You know, he's kind of like a serious business character. Like, I don't enjoy that guy the most, but hey, it's an effective character and you can't really argue that. Oh yeah, wait, fitness I think I already showed you guys, but anyway, melee. I sang my little melee song, yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much everything. Like I said, everything in here is preference. Like if you feel like going full phase disruptor, you know, you're gonna charge more situationally, kind of like an Asari Vanguard. You know, you could pick this. You know, you'll do extra damage to shields and barriers. One thing I noticed that I took this the first time I spec'd this guy, and it's still shitty. Like you still drink too much of your shields. Like if you could fire off like 10 of them before your shields go, it would be cool. But it's not really like that. You can fire like maybe 5. But that's just like a rough. I don't remember exactly. So yeah, so people are gonna give me shit that I chose the 3 tiers and phase disruptor, but it's just cool to have some extra little long range move. Like I said, I only need extra damage, very little extra damage in my weapon, and this too. This could help too. So as I'm backing up, since this is not on the same cooldown as charge and Biotic Slash, I could charge. And if I'm backing up, I could fire a disciple shot and then a phase disruptor shot. You know, it's not gonna do the most damage, but like I said, the mobs are already gonna be like hemorrhaging and bleeding and crying for their lives or whatever. So yeah, there you go. And I think there's something else I wanted to say. I don't remember. I don't know, who cares. Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this on this video, the one that I had that I didn't record it properly, but I used the Disciple for staggering, and a lot of you guys might be using the Talon And I actually used the Talon too in my first run with this guy, and then I used the Disciple, and it just worked so well that I was like, oh, this is good. So yeah, this is everything. I'll see you guys in my next video, which I don't know what it's going to be. I had recorded a Paladin playthrough, and I was doing so ridiculously good. Like, oh man, it was so good. I had all these like it was so good that I'm gonna, even though we lost a match, I'm gonna make one day, I'm gonna definitely make like a headshot montage and include footage of that video. I mean, I would do like reaction headshots and headshot a nemesis through a wall. It was ridiculous. But we ended up losing, not because of us being bad. We lost because EA servers, or Bio, whatever the hell happened, the servers decided to shit. The servers shit 2 of our players out. So that was boom, down to just me and the other Vanguard. Well, actually, I was playing the Paladin, obviously. And the Vanguard was orbiting us in space, in the clouds. Okay, Biotic slashing the clouds. He was so glitched, it was unfunny. And so yeah, and could I have soloed it? Yeah, maybe, depending on the class I was playing. But I don't really do solo runs. I don't know. I mean, I'll start trying it, I guess. But I mean, I've soloed clutched like a wave 10 before. Yeah, sure, I've done that many times. But what's it called? So no, but we were in like a bad situation. We were on Benning, right, which is Firebase Ghost, and we were swarmed in the in like one of those buildings off to the right. And then like all of a sudden, just stasis stops. The other guy firing the saber stops. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It just got like, amidst the chaos, it got quiet. And I'm like, oh shit, something is not good. I just sensed it. Like I got like a knot in my stomach. I pressed escape, and I was like, oh god, no, because I knew that the other guy was glitched. He had glitched from like the round or 2 before, so we were just carrying him through it. Oh, it was so miserable. But so I might upload my Krogan video. They're hilarious. One of them is on Firebase White, so I don't know if I'm gonna upload that one. But the one that's on FBW is for Krogan. It's like a Tuchankan rave party. It's really funny, and you guys should definitely check. Like, you guys will definitely like it. I'm sure you guys can overlook the fact that it's on Firebase White, because it's hilarious. It's for Krogan, dude. Come on. And then the other one's on Reactor, but I don't know if I want to upload that one because there's a Geth Engineer there, and someone might be like, oh, you're cheating. You have healing turret, which it wasn't really even spec'd for healing. And I mean, still, how much of a difference is that going to make in the grand scheme of tanking 2 primes and 3 pyros? Tell me about it. So I have the Acolyte too, just if I need a little range. I don't know if this works because it doesn't work on SMGs. Does it work with this? Fuck it, I don't know. I used to use it on SMGs anyway, just because it made the Hornet black, and I thought that was sick. My friend used to yell at me all the time. I don't give a shit, dude. Black Hornet. Are you crazy? Oh, that's not good. Let's take care of that right now. Anyway, alright, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye. Oh, and one more thing, I had to come back because I did make a mistake with when I was comparing Phase Disruptor and Biotic Slash, and I said that since Biotic Slash is at 1350, right? And then, so you remember that, and then I said and then I said, like, say you have like Phase Disruptor at like 600 damage. I knew it was 660, but I was just giving like a rough estimate, right? So like let's say 700, and then you have like 100% of that. It would be at 1400, which is like still the same thing as which would mean Biotic Slash is still more. I mean, Biotic Slash is 1350, but for 700 and plus 100%, we're severely rounding Phase Disruptor up. But I neglected the damage. Another 30%, 780, and then another 75%. So it would add up. Like, they would be about the same, and Phase Disruptor might hit a little more. Then again, I have taken physics classes, and I have taken a lot of calculus, but I just don't give a shit when it's summertime. I don't give a shit to even think about 1 + 1. Okay, so you guys do the math. I'm just giving rough estimates. All right, see you guys.